Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sharing Our Stories, a podcast dedicated to promoting and highlighting the Indigenous Women's Entrepreneur Program here in Northern Manitoba. My name is Michelle Pruder, and I am your host. Today with me is Jacquie Dram, who has previously run her own business in Woboden and who has been involved with the IWE program as a mentor. Welcome, Jacquie.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. So before we talk about your experience as a mentor for the Indigenous Women's Entrepreneur Program, tell us about your own journey and how you came to run your own business and what that was like.
Okay, so I work at a job like 9 to 5 or 8 to 4. So, but about 10, 15 years ago, I started to have this desire to buy a business and to run it. And with the purpose of the business being to provide jobs for women to be able to work with them to enhance their skills and to provide mentorship. And hopefully, like the plan was just to give them an opportunity to build their skills, like I said, and their own income, and be able to either keep working in this field or to be able to progress into something else, basically.
Right. Because in Woboden, there isn't a lot of employment opportunities. So this was one way to provide that in your community.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering how many women worked at your business, and how did that go? Like, was it what you expected, or was it harder? Was it?
Oh, oh my gosh, there were quite a few women. I would say probably at least 20, and there was a couple guys as well.
Okay.
And yeah, it was great. All of the ladies were very nice to work with. They were all at, some of them had worked in the restaurant business for many years, so they had, a lot of the skills. And I also had people that had worked in a restaurant business that would work for me on the weekends. So they also provided a lot of information and training to me, like just in their previous job history. They had moved on to other areas. So just having them around was really good. It helped everybody that was involved in running the business to become better at their jobs. So it was kind of like 3-tiered mentoring, sort of like, and even with the young people, because we had students as well. That was another target group that I had in mind. They had a lot of skills as well, right? That they brought. They didn't necessarily have the like the skills that we had because we'd been working for many years, but they brought their youth and their their techie knowledge and all of that, and just they were good at a lot of things, like especially like with marketing. Those kinds of skills were great to have from the younger people.
Yeah, that's a great example of how, as a business owner, when you start a business, you don't have to know everything, and you're not going to be good at everything and know it all. And that's why you hire people, because they have experience in other areas or expertise in other areas, and you can learn from them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just being able to bring them on as well, just to help out.
Right. And I know that a lot of business owners in Thompson have that challenge of hiring people, that they aren't getting enough people applying for those jobs. Did you find that in Woboden this was a restaurant, correct?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Did you find that you had a hard time finding people, or did you have a hard time retaining people, or?
Yeah, mostly it was retaining people. Because it's not that they didn't want to work. They just had other things that they would be doing, and sometimes that interfered with them coming to work. So
Right. Yeah.
mhm.
And
So
so as a mentor, you've worked with a few different women now, and I'm wondering what your experience has been doing that.
well, I've really enjoyed the experience working with the different mentees. You know, everyone is so unique and so talented and interesting. Very intelligent women, you know, different personalities, different ideas, and they're all so creative and all at different I guess steps in their business journey.
Right.
So yeah, so it's been very rewarding. I found it um I've had very enjoyable interactions with them. So yeah, it's been good.
So, Jacquie, with your mentees that you worked with, were there any common issues that you noticed? Any specific challenges or issues?
Yes, I think one of the most common threads amongst all of them is that they have these wonderful products, you know, whether it's they're creating um, you know, earrings, whatever it is their business is, or if they're providing tours, you know, whatever it is that they're doing,
Yeah.
there's a lack of resources. There's a lack of or limited resources. There's not enough time because most of them work full time, you know.
Right.
Um, so and the marketing is really hard as well, right? So if you're doing beading, you know, beading is a lot of work, and you don't really get the return on the time and the effort that you put into it. So it just seems like they're not getting, you know, return for what they're putting into the products. So that seemed to be a common theme. So I just, you know, it's kind of something that I don't know how you deal with that. But it's just because like it's northern Manitoba, right? It's we don't have everything that you would have down south that, you know, you could go down the street and get, you know, um, whatever it is you need. You know, if you're in Churchill, if you're in South Indian, Woboden, Cross Lake, wherever, yeah, you just don't have access to the things you need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Mhm.
And
So
I've seen that too, where people struggle like with the pricing of their items because they
right.
don't want to charge too much because they want to be able to sell the items.
Mhm.
And yet, if you don't charge enough, you're really not getting paid for your time when you
Right.
calculate what it costs for your supplies, getting the
Mhm.
supplies to you, because like you said, you can't just go to the store down the street and buy the beads you need or the hide. Like you have to order
Mhm.
them, they have to be shipped, or you have to, you know, make a special trip to Winnipeg or something. So
Mhm.
that does seem to be a common thread. That
Mhm.
I don't know that we have an answer right off the
Right.
top of our head, but I do know that, you know, some people have been successful
Mhm.
in getting those things sold and making a profit, but it definitely takes a lot of tweaking and
Yes.
figuring out to get
Mhm.
to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, like, so if you live in one of the communities, right? So if you're
Mhm.
going to come in for a craft sale, which is basically where you would try and come to sell your goods, you know, then you've got the expense of coming into town. You've got to get a hotel, you know, so if you don't
Yes.
have family. So yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a lot of things to work out. And it's something that I've thought about, you know, a fair bit. It's just like, how could this work better for everybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't come up with an answer yet.
Yeah. And, you know, maybe being able to use the internet more and sell,
Mhm.
you know, having a great website and being able to sell more globally
Mhm.
might be an answer for people. I don't know, but I know that there are a lot more ways to use the internet for online sales
Yes.
that
Yeah.
could potentially help with that.
Mhm.
So how important do you think it is to have mentorship in our lives, like especially as a business person. I guess that leads into another question. Is there somebody that helped you, like any mentors that you've had along the way? You mentioned a little bit about, the different help you had while you were operating the business, but I'm just wondering if there's anyone specifically that has helped you along the way.
Well, there was a lady in Wimbledon. Her name was Karina, and she was very helpful because she had worked there before, and she's now teaching. So she was really excellent to have, just helping me,
Right.
And if I had an issue, I could just talk to her about it, and then she would, give me ideas or just that kind of thing.
And that's a good point. Sometimes it's just about having someone to talk to and just someone to bounce ideas off of. It's not so much that you want your mentor to fix everything for you or figure it out.
Right.
Having someone to talk to.
Yes. And that was in terms of running the business, but in terms of like the paperwork and all of that, there were a couple ladies there. One was named Cindy and another one, Michelle. So they were very helpful as well in just getting the paperwork aspect of it down, because there is so much paperwork that goes along with running a business.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, myself included, it's been a learning curve where I've gradually learned more and more about what needs to be done in terms of dealing with government or taxes and things like that. And as soon as you hire someone, it's one thing when you're just working for yourself, but as soon as you hire people, then it opens up a whole new thing, right? Where you have your payroll and payroll remittances and some of the things that go along with that.
Right. Yes. And when you're doing it all yourself, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work, especially when you have another job, right? So it's like you're always scrambling, always running, just trying to keep your head above water.
Yeah. So, there's the component of running your own business of the actual product or service that you're selling. You want to make sure you're good at that. You're keeping your customers happy. There's the other component of marketing, getting the word out, what you're doing, and, always bringing in those customers. But the third component, if we're thinking of it as a three-legged stool, is all that paperwork and the bookkeeping, the taxes, the staying on top of all of that and making sure that you're actually making money.
Right.
We all know if we're not making money at our business, then it's not really a business, right? We're going to, it's more of a hobby, or we're going to go under, which we don't want to do.
No.
So, Jacquie, do you have any advice for women who are perhaps just thinking about starting a business or have launched a business and are still quite new to the idea of entrepreneurship?
Yes, I think the main thing is that you have to. I think it's really good to talk to people who have a business already. Shadow them if you can. Like become a pest if you have to. For example, like, with their paperwork, their taxes, how they do taxes, like how they do payroll, gain as much knowledge as you can. Talk to financially astute people and people who are accountants, people who do inventory. Take advantage of any programs that there are to enhance your skills, and become familiar with computer programs to keep track of your spending and your income. Learn as much as you can and be prepared, because like it's really a lot of work. That's pretty much what I would say to people that are wanting to start a business.
It sounds like really good advice. I love it. Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your time with me and anyone who's listening today.
You're welcome. And thank you.
Bye, Jacquie.
Bye.